Okay, so whole house PixelPlane in HLS. You see there, this is the drawing I did of the front of the house. When we moved in, I didn't have any photos to go by. I'd been off my feet since we moved here, so I drew the front of the house to the best of my knowledge. So to make the PixelPlane and the matrix, I've used the highest and widest points on the house. My widest point is my pixels. They're 95 sets across the front of the house, with the spacing in between each one. The highest point on the house is the matrix. Lowest is what I call my little solar lights. So I've made it 190 wide by 100 high. So we close that down. For the moment, got to do a bit of tidying up. So we're going to make a pixel plane. We're going to make a new matrix. No folder associated with this pixel plane. Create pixel plane. Channel's already created, just to modify. So we've got 190 columns by 100. Calculate. Going to call it the whole house model. I'm going to use one as the starting group. Okay, going to go and modify the list. I don't want beat in there, but just about everything else. Now I'm leaving, this is my little section of dumb nodes, that kind of thing. I'm leaving them out. I don't want them in there. Everything else is pixel based. And go down and check everything in there. Done. Okay, so the very next thing we want to do, I'll just go and make sure that everything's turned up in there. Everything looks fine. I'll go back out of there. And the very next thing we want to do is assign our pixels. This is where the fun begins. Okay, so you come up with the same grid as you would with anything else, any other pixel plane. Goes across, there's your 190 by 100. Okay, I determined that the highest point in the house was the matrix, so that goes down 40 deep, and then I started on my pixels. I know that my pixicles, are the widest point on the house, so I go down 40, and I started at number 41 because there's going to be no gap between the bottom of the matrix and the top of my pixicles, well, I'm hoping not anyway. So the very first place that I'm going to place assign my pixels is right here. So I'm highlighting the tops because I'm going to go top to bottom. Right click on there, and of course this has decided to play up for some reason. I've noticed this just recently. This is coming up again. It starts halfway down the page for some reason. But anyway, we can fix that. So you see there, sorry about this, I'm going to do those 5 right there. There's my first lot. Second lot, this is quite a slow process going through this. You need to be methodical, but you'll get there in the end. I made a bunch of mistakes, I'll be honest, as I was going through this. I'll blame the medication on some of that, that's for sure. But anyway, if you happen to make a mistake, I'll show you this one. I did this a few times, clicked in the wrong spot. Easiest to get this out of the way now. And I went in here and I put these in the wrong spot. Right there, so you can see I've misaligned them. Okay, so what you want to do here, again, use this section, because I forgot about this section. You want to get rid of all 5. Click there, remove this number. Okay, done. Very easy. Thanks, Joe. You saved my life a few times here. Okay, so what you do is continue along. Again, this takes a bit of time. And then you work your way across, doing all in your show. So I'll finish these ones off. Done. Nice and easy. These ones where you got 5 in a row. My matrix is obviously going to be easier. I can do 40 at a time, 40 rows at a time. I can go across if I want to. You can use your side, go left to right, right to left, that kind of thing. It does get a little bit trickier when you've got some custom elements, but it's the same principle right the way across. Okay, so I skipped ahead a little bit and put a few more in. Assign a few more pixels. Let's see here. I've gone across to about 25, I think, of my pixels. And at row 21, I started to put some of my matrix in as well. So you can see that. Okay, so before you go too much further, what I would suggest you do is to set up a display group. And you're going to have a new display group that you're going to call whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it my whole house model. Right there, whole house model. Okay, you'll see there, whole house model. I've already got some nutcracker effects, but you can use HLS effects, nutcracker effects. So we go in here, we'll add a HLS custom effect so you can see what's going to happen. There, we'll do vertical bars, speed it up a little bit, get a couple of bars happening in there. Give us an idea. Okay. Call this WHM test. Sounds good to me. Create and replace. That's done. We'll go and see how our alignment's going. And I suggest you do this a few times to see how your alignment is going throughout the process. You don't want to get to the end of it and find out that everything's well and truly misaligned after putting in 5 or 10,000 pixels. Let's have a look and see how close we are. So fairly close there. Might be out by 1. And maybe I should have started on my matrix on number 20 or 22 or something. I started on 21. And I did this a number of times throughout the process, just to make sure that I was aligning things properly. But you'll see there that that's fairly close, and maybe I should have started on the next one over for the matrix, and I think I did on my on the one that I did the other day. So anyway, you get the gist of that. So what I might do now is I'll skip ahead and I'll show you some of these. The custom ones, because they're the ones that are going to take longer. Certainly these, what I call my wagon wheels, these represent little presents down the bottom of trees and that sort of thing. Certainly any star patterns, that sort of thing. Okay, so we're going to skip through to a couple of the custom elements that I've got, just to show you. Takes a little bit longer, a little bit more planning, but still pretty straightforward. So I've got what I call my tree star. It sits at the top of the tree. I've had to move things around a little bit from last year to this year, so a bit of trial and error for me at the moment, but you'll get the gist of what I'm talking about here. So it's the same principle. You go in and assign your pixels in here. Then find my tree star. Of course, it's right down the bottom. Now, you'll see there, I've started my wiring on my stars from the center going out. So what we want to do is highlight these three here and go bottom to top, so it'll fill in this section here. Nothing changed because I've already done it. But I'll show you the same principle again. I'll do it here. And for instance, 1, 2, 3, bottom to top. And you'll see there, 1, 2, 3. Now I don't want those to stay there, so I'm going to get rid of those. I've moved on to a different sequence, and this is my setup that I did the other day. So you'll see that a lot more has been done in here. Done. But you'll see in relation where the tree is, we're now on column 126, and that sits just to the right of my matrix, and it sits above the pixicles. There's one of my canes, cane number 5, cane number 6. And the tree star is kind of going to sit. I need to do a little bit more manipulation, but it's fairly close at the moment. And you'll see there. And again, I went back and checked. I did put some effects on it, and as I was going across, you would see little bits and pieces as I was building my pixel assignments across my preview. So it just made it a little bit easier, and I was picking up any little mistakes that I was making along the way. So you see there, I actually moved my preview a little bit because I moved it this morning before making this and forgot to move it all back. So everything is a little bit better aligned now, except for these canes here just need to be moved a little bit. But you'll see what I mean now. Now I've gone in and dropped a couple of nutcracker effects on here just so you can see what the story is. If I play that, you'll see that everything appears to be reasonably well aligned. Okay, so the next thing I'll do, I'll go and set up the matrix as I did in Nutcracker, just to show you that and the process of bringing those across.